Hey, what's up? Hey, I'm trying something new today. If you are listening to this on Spotify, they can now do video. So if you want to go to Spotify and you find the podcast in Spotify, you might, if I do this right, you might be able to see me talking if you want. So check it out on Spotify. If you're on Apple or any other platform, you're probably just going to hear me, which is what you're used to. But anyway, so what did I want to talk about today? So I was having a conversation in my agency today with my producer, and he was like, because we're going to be taking some more rate here in my states in November on home. And I think we're taking it again in like March or April. And he was like, Matt, I talked to my DM about this too. And we're in unprecedented times right now. I've talked to 20, 30-year agents, and they're like, I've never seen anything like this before when it comes to what things are like in the insurance industry. I haven't. I've been at it for 18 years and haven't seen anything like it. And this is a generational thing. I would like to think that, in 50 years, when you look back on this period of time and you look at whatever graph they're going to be looking at, you're going to look at it and be like, what the hell happened there? And that this period of time is kind of an outlier. But my hope is that, we find ways to endure and we continue to write business. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. It's just like, what is my plan, my agency's plan moving into next year? So honestly, there was a training that I went to a couple years ago by one of the best commercial trainers or commercial agents in my company. And he said, look, he lives in the Houston area. He says, look, in Houston, there are pockets of time where it's like back in this period of time, we weren't able to write homeowners policies at all for like 4 years or something like that. And I don't know if that's going to happen with my company. I think all bets are off right now on what might happen. But what would you do if an entire line of business, went away and you were not able to write new business? It feels like there's a part of what we're going through, depending on what your new business premiums are like and things like that. It's harder to write new business in certain lines right now, right? Premiums are going up. Companies are putting on more restrictions. We don't do this type of insurance anymore. If you're commercial lines, if you write a lot of commercial, your commercial carrier may be like, we're not writing that anymore. Or we don't write homes in that zip code anymore. Or we don't write homes in this state right now. It's tough and it's unprecedented. So what do you do? How do you prepare moving forward? So I was talking to Monty, like I said, and I told him, I was like, look, we have a premium goal every year for new business to write that we almost always hit. We always want to hit this much premium every year. We've done it automatic for 15 years in a row, This year, I think we have to be more strategic though. And so if I want to write the same amount of premium that I've written in the last, 10 years on average, there might be a different mix of products in there to get me that new business premium. Okay. So we are focusing on life and workers' comp. Life premiums are not going up. Okay. They're not. Life premiums are static. Some of them are probably even going down, so that is there for you. And if you are a multi-line agent and you can write multi-lines, is there a line there that is going to be more attractive to sell? Yep. I would say life insurance, life insurance is a different sale. It's a different animal. It's a different mindset, but you know how to do it, right? Or maybe you don't, but you can learn, right? So when it comes to life insurance, it's just about starting the conversation. And I've got tons of stuff and trainings and on how to do that. I've done podcasts on how to have those conversations and how to set the proper face amounts, on how to handle objections. If you go through the podcast, you'll find plenty of podcasts episodes on how to position yourself for life insurance. I'd encourage you to study up and learn on that. And then the other thing is workers' comp, so if you're in a state that writes workers' comp, all business owners have to have it. I'll tell you my secret for workers' comp. Okay. At least in my state, the way that it works, so most workers' comp premiums for class codes from company to company, the premiums are pretty close, right? They're not regulated, but most companies, like if I can write like a plumbing company or a painter or an electrician or stuff like that, my rates are going to be very similar to my competition. Okay. They just are. They're usually pretty close. Okay. But there are discounts that not every carrier or not every agent puts on their policies. So the way we're going to lead with workers' comp next year is we have something called the drug and alcohol discount that we can place on our product here in my state of Idaho. It's 5%. And if the company has anything in writing in an employee manual that says, hey, if you come to work and you're drunk or stoned, you're fired. That just has to be in an employee manual. It has to be on letterhead or whatever it is. If a company can provide me with that and I show it to my underwriter, 5%. Okay, 5% off. Now, there's a carrier in town that writes a lot of workers' comp that has the same discount available. And every time I see a deck page from that company, I rarely see that discount on there. So if I come in, and the other thing about workers' comp is like, it is not a complicated product to sell. There are no bells and whistles on there. It's a very simple product to sell. Okay. So apples for apples, this is one of the only products I'm okay doing apples for apples with. If my quote comes in at $10,000 and they're paying $10,000 and they don't have the drug and alcohol discount on there, and I do, I'm automatically at $9,500 without breaking a sweat. Okay. And then the other thing I can do is that I would go to my underwriters and try and get another 5 or 10%. You always go for more, right? Try and get 10% more. And you have to work with your underwriters, and there's a way to do that where you can say, hey, this is why I'd like some credits on this. I'd like 10% credits on this. And this is why. Your company probably has a worksheet. They're called IRPM. They're premium modifiers. That's fancy for why should I give this company a discount? What are they doing to keep their employees safe? And there's a list of questions. They can be like, do they have safety meetings, and do they wear protective equipment? And, do they wear non-slip shoes and have non-slip mats? And are they trained? And what is the turnover for your employees? There's like a dozen things that you can answer, and you can go to your underwriter and say, hey, can you give me 10% because they wear protective goggles, and they wear non-slip shoes, or, whatever it is. And you can usually I ask for 10%. I would ask for 10%, hoping to get 5. That way I get 5% from my company, 5% from drug and alcohol. And now all of a sudden my premium's $9,000 up against their current $10,000 policy. And if you can go to a business owner today and say, hey, your insurance has probably gone up, right? And they're like, oh my God, everything has gone up. Well, what if I can get you a break on your workers' comp? And you roll in there and you're like, hey, I can get you 10% off your workers' comp and save you $1,000. What do you think of that? That's an easier sale, right? So anyway, that's what we're going to do. We've had a lot of success over the past 7-8 years writing like painting companies, right? And so they're good premiums. My painters haven't been great business owners. They need a little bit more hand holding when it comes to like the audits on workers' comp and stuff like that, but it's good premium. And, painters have trucks, and they have equipment, and they have general liability, and they have houses. So anyway, the workers' comp policy can be a gateway. You can roll in there, save them some money, start there, and then, see what else you can capture. So life and workers' comp is kind of where we're going to head next year. And that's where we're going to try and hit our premium goal. I think there's a lot of opportunity there. You just got to go get it. You got to go hunting. And that's where we're going to use our network too. So I'm going to talk to all my business owners and be like, hey, do you know any painters? Do you know any electricians? Do you know any plumbers? Do you know any whatever you think you can write? Use your network to get leads. Okay. So, or you can cold call. I don't care. Just quote, right? All right. So that's my plan. Thank you for listening. My name is Matt. This is Agency Launch. You can find me all over the place. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Dietz Agency. Don't forget to send me a text, 208-213-8809. And send me 20 policies, and I'll send you a resource on how to get in front of people so you can write 20 policies in 1 week. There you go. Thank you so much for listening. Keep up the good work.